Hello, everyone. Welcome to Coaching with Karishma. I call this Miracles with Karishma, lunch half hour or whatnot. So thank you for being here, and I'm grateful to have every one of you here. And, I really, my intention is to really show up and give you all this gift of my time. And I know that time is the most precious commodity that we have. So just for me to show up fully for you, and more intentionally for you to show up fully for you. And I really encourage you, if you all can, if you find this valuable, if you find any of this valuable, share it with your friends. Okay, share it with your friends. I expect nothing in exchange. It's simply my gift to you to help you show up in the world more empowered, more confident than you were yesterday. And I just encourage you all to share this gift with your friends. And pretty soon after we're done here, I'm going to drop the registration link for a webinar. I have a webinar going on right now as I go Facebook Live as well. So I'm not looking at the Facebook Live comments. I'm in the webinar room. If you want to interact with me or whatnot, feel free to come in and just chat with me in the webinar link. And in addition to that, if you feel called to connect with me afterwards, I'm going to drop a strategy link as well. If you're like, you know what, Karishma, I think I really need support, here is a strategy link I'm going to be dropping, but I'm here, no strings attached, to really show up and serve you. And if you're here live catching this hashtag, right, hashtag live. If you're catching this on a replay, right, hashtag replay. And I hope that you're able to join me as many days of the week as I'll be going live in here every day from Monday to Wednesday at noon Central Time. So what I wanted to talk about today was this idea of fear. And I literally got off just an hour ago from, my group coaching program called Magnetic Leaders. And we were talking about the relationship with ourselves and fear. And what I really encourage you all to do is to really start developing a different relationship with fear within yourself. And, it's so scary sometimes to take on that relationship and to really, embrace that relationship. And what we've learned more than anything in society is we're taught to avoid things that are uncomfortable. We're taught to avoid the source of pain, if you will. We're taught to reject fears and insecurities and doubt and anger and guilt and shame and sadness and all these things. And I'm here to tell you what I've learned is to be, eye-opening. Is what we resist persists. And, there's the path of the ego, the identity. And one of my favorite books that I recommend to my clients that completely changed my life, and I'm going to share this with you all, is Untethered Soul. If you haven't read it, pick it up. It's amazing. And if you can listen to the Audible, or even I think it's free on YouTube, listen to the book. It will change your life if you let it. And what that book taught me is I am not the identity. I am something more than that. I am more than what I tell myself I am. And the words, the labels that we use to define ourselves are so powerful. Because what I've realized more and more is we create our own limitation. We create our own limited framework of reality. And I know that everything that I want for me is on the other side of fear, right? If I am not living a life that is abundant, and I'll use abundance because we're all here to be more confident, more empowered, more abundant, showing up more powerfully, showing up to serve more, so on and so forth. So if I'm not showing up abundant, I'm doing it to me. And why am I doing it to me? It's not happening for me. You will listen to the language, because I know that empowerment is about really taking responsibility for my own life. And be like, if I am not happy, if I am suffering in any shape or form in my life, I'm doing it to me. And that realization can set you free if you let it, Because if you're creating your own suffering, you also have the ability to shift your own reality into whatever you want it to be. So why is it that we hold on to fears and limitations and lack? Because on some level, our ego, our identity tells us it's safe to be limited. It's safe to not have it all. It's safe to not be enough. It's safe to be in fear, lack, and scarcity. And what our soul wants, the other side, and I'm going to use the word soul, is there's a part of you, because I know you wouldn't be here today if it weren't for that. There's a journey of the soul that's like, you know what, I want more. And I'm not talking about wanting more possessions or having more things or more money in our bank accounts. I'm talking about, I want to show up more on a deep level. I want to serve more people on a deep level. I want to be more free on a deep level. I want to be more peaceful on a deep level. I want to have more beautiful, loving, harmonious relationships in my life on a deep level. I want a business that really lights me up. That is your soul talking, my friends. And so what I'm realizing more and more is there's a voice of the soul. And I know that voice is what brought you here. And then there's the ego that is there to keep you safe, to keep you stuck in a way, because it knows or thinks that being small, limited is protecting you. Your ego's job is to protect you. And on some level, by keeping you in the fear, lack, and scarcity, it is keeping you safe. So what needs to happen in order to shift that relationship with yourself, because your soul is you and your ego is you. And ego is really limited. So if I put myself in any kind of box and I'm like, okay, Karishma, you're a coach, that meaning of coach has limitations. If I put myself in a box and go, Karishma, you're a mom, that has limitations that were created by conditioning, by what society taught me that I should be or what I should do. But when I go into the journey of the soul, and I know for me, my soul tells me I am everything. I am infinite. I am limitless. And I guarantee your soul is telling you the same thing. Are you willing to slow down and listen? So on a fundamental level, what we need to do is change our relationship with ourselves. And having gone through umpteen self-help seminars, what I was taught previously that does not work, for the record, is I was taught to pretend the fear is not there, to scream my head off, to jump up and down. Literally, I did all the things to overcome the fear. What if I recognize that that fear actually plays a beautiful role in my life? That on some level, that fear was actually there to protect me. And it actually taught me a lot of lessons. And what's crazy is that fear can be paralyzing, that fear can be haunting, that fear can be super limiting. And that fear can tells us, you can't do more. You will never be able to overcome this. What if this and what if that? And then the other side, the soul, and I know on some level, every one of us is on this journey of the soul. The soul pushes us sometimes to show up anyway. It's that soul that helped you leave that toxic relationship. It's the soul that pushed you out of the job that you knew on a deep level you were unhappy with. It's the soul that perhaps had that voice inside of you saying, you need to move from here because this is no longer good for you. And you're able to do more. You're able to be more. And the other side is like, you need to stay here. You need to be safe. Let me be comfortable right now. Let me stay in the known. What if I told you that everything is the unknown? Everything is the unknown. We spend our entire lives trying to stay safe in the known, where the truth is nothing is stagnant. Nothing is stagnant. Everything is temporary. I was talking to a friend The other day is like, okay, I'm driving and I'm really in a 40 mile per hour zone, and there's a car flipped over on the side of a road, not even the highway, the side of a road. What if we realize that life is actually happening right now, that nothing is known? We have no idea what's going to happen. A really close family member to me called me the other day. It's like, oh my God, Karishma, and they left their job. December 2021, I guess, 21, quit the job, super overwhelmed, super burnt out, started job number 2. Within 3 or 4 months, gets laid off. Back on the job market for a month and a half, 2 months. Starts job number 3. I'm not making up this story. Last year in the summer, to find out 2 weeks ago that he got laid off. This is layoff number 2, job number 3 in less than a year and a half. And it's not for lack of skill set. This person's super smart, super qualified, executive MBA, all the fancy things, director titles. We spend so much time and energy trying to keep everything safe, to keep ourselves safe. And it was so interesting because I'm having a conversation with this person and I'm like, were you even happy there? Were you even happy at this job? And they're like, no, actually I wasn't. And I realized that it wasn't really the fit that I wanted. It didn't give me the time freedom that I thought I would have. I'm working every weekend, Karishma. And at some point I probably would have quit anyway. I wanted to quit. I didn't want them to fire me. Do you see that's fear and control? Because I can look at him objectively and I can see, even though he doesn't know what's happening right now, his soul is calling him to move in a different direction. You know, there's that inside voice. His inside voice, I talked to him, literally, he was telling his girlfriend 2 days before the layoff announcement that I think I need to quit. 2 days later, the universe does him a favor. They go, here's a layoff notice. So instead of saying thank you, he went into fear, control. And so isn't it time that we start having a different relationship with ourselves and having a different relationship with fear, and almost having a gentle relationship with fear? Because we look at ourselves, and I literally talked about shoulding on ourselves. And if you weren't on my live yesterday, please take some time and go back and listen to the replay. It's on my Confident Empowered Leaders group. And I also have a Coach Karishma YouTube page, so feel free to follow me on there as well. But I talked about the shoulding on ourselves. So the second that he gets laid off, he calls me, he's like, Karishma, I'm a failure. Things only have the meaning we give them. This could be the biggest gift in his life if he lets it. Embracing the beauty of what's happening right now, embracing what is happening. Life is happening to you, for you, not to you, and seeing that everything can be a gift. And instead of looking at that fear inside of him that's building and building and building, going, holy crap, I need to hold on to control because I don't know what to do with myself. Oh my God, this means that I'm a failure because my 3rd job in less than a year and a half. You can look at all of those things and stack those things and even justify those things. But my friends, that's all ego and identity talking. And the fundamental shifts happen in our life when we realize it is safe to be us. It is safe to be us. And for me, more and more, that safety and security that I want outside of me doesn't exist. Every time I hold on to anything, life teaches me a lesson. God is like, you know what? You think you have this plan? Let me show you a different plan. Let me show you a different plan. And every time you think you've got anything down, life is going to kick your butt until you're willing to listen. How much does it take for you to pay attention to what's happening right now? And one of the things that I do is like help my clients see the elephant in the room that they are not able to see. I cannot see my darn elephants, and neither can you. And what's happening right now for all of us is what we're afraid of is the very thing that what we're afraid of is actually what we really want. So if I really want abundance, I'm actually really afraid of having it. If I really want love, I'm actually really afraid of having it. If I'm afraid of having amazing health and prosperity, health and vitality, I'm actually afraid of having it, because on some level, my ego has told me it is safe to not be abundant, prosperous, vital, have a relationship. And overcoming that self-sabotage entails creating a different relationship with ourselves, creating a different relationship with that fear that's inside of us, and being like, you know what, fear, thank you. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you for keeping me safe. Thank you for trying to protect me and stepping up and coming into the path of your soul anyway. Because your soul is calling for you every day to show up with more love, to take care of yourself more, to respect yourself more, to advocate for yourself more. And one of the things that I will talk about more and more in here is about advocating for yourself and advocating for that inner child. And I want you to think about your inner child. What the hell does your inner child want? Think of you as a young child under the age of 7. What did you want to do? How did you want to be? How did you want to live your life? What lit you up when you fell in love with the first time? What lit you up when you started going on your career paths for the first time? And it's time to come back into that harmony with you. But when we stop rejecting that fear and we go, wow, this fear is here to help me and teach me a lesson. And it's been trying to protect me, but I'm going to show up anyway. I'm going to show up anyway, even though I'm freaking terrified. I am going to show up anyway, because on some level, I know this is the journey of my soul. My soul wants me to help more people. My soul wants me to have abundance so I can show up and serve without worrying about my bills being paid. For me, that is the epitome of freedom. I'm doing that right now as we speak. I get to show up and just be here without any strings attached. For me, that is literally a epitome of freedom. To be able to show up and dictate my life, my priorities in the way I want, even though my head tells me all the reasons why I shouldn't. And it is damn convincing when I let it. And I get to just love that part of me that's scared and be like, it's okay to be scared. I love scared Karishma. It's okay. And this conversation I had with a client yesterday, we were talking about his, and it's again, he's like shooting on himself, right? Oh my God, I should do this. I should do this. I should do this. I don't feel great. I should do this. I should do this. And I said, at what point are you going to stop shitting on yourself? And he has children, grown children, and young grandchildren. And I said, at what point, how would you talk to your children if they were sad, if they were scared? How would you talk to them? And he's like, I would give them a lot of compassion. And if they were scared, what would you say to them? He said, I would listen to them and tell them that it's okay to be scared. And I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'm not going to reject you because you're scared. I'm here for you. And what's crazy is at some point, that rejection of others becomes our own self-rejection. And that voice inside of our head, we are our worst critics, all of us. We start doing it to ourselves. And we stop believing in ourselves. Or we start listening to that voice. And we're shitting on ourselves all over the place. Instead of just appreciating that voice of fear, accepting that, you know what, right now I'm really scared. And being okay with being scared. And showing up anyway. Because what happens more and more is when you start showing up anyway, your identity starts coming on board with the ego. It's like, okay, I guess we're doing this. All right, let's buckle up for the ride. We're doing this anyway. And that's how we start really creating a beautiful relationship with ourselves. And our relationship with ourselves dictates our relationship with the outside world. Your relationship with you is dictating your relationship with everything else in your life. So if you're looking at the world and you have this paralyzing relationship with fear, where every time fear speaks up and shows up and you're like, I can't perform, I can't do this, I'm completely in fear, I'm paralyzed, guess what happens? Everything in the world has to keep igniting more fear within you to help you learn how to love the part of you that is scared. Everything is here to help bring you into more love. So how much more is it going to take? Is it going to take you kicking and screaming? Or are you going to look at everything as the gift that it is and be like, thank you, fear. Now I get to love me that's scared sometimes. Now I get to love me and have compassion for me that is terrified sometimes. And I get to step to the journey of my soul because I know on some level, God has me. And I get to let go of the fear and step into my light even more every day. I'd love for you all to put in the chat what resonated with you. What's your takeaway from our call today? And I'll be sharing in the next few days just opportunities for you to get the support that you want. I'll drop a game plan call here if you're like, you know what, Karishma, I really need help now. Let's connect. My intention is to really show up more and to serve you more in whatever resonates with you. And I know this journey that I'm talking about within me didn't happen overnight. It took commitment, it took consistency, it took accountability for me to get the help that I needed from my mentors, from my teachers, to start stepping into the light that I am. So I can live a life that is free. I can live a life that is peaceful. I can live a life that is abundant. I can live a life that's amazing. Hope you have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye.